Mhm. And look what I scuffed. Try this a bit different. Let's do this, that, that, this, and then nice. I can do this size. Good luck. Thank you for popping by. That goes there. That and then this. Be more or less like this and that. Like so. Maybe a bit too detailed actually, but like that. Need to delete that one actually. That, that. So this is already off. Up, up, up. Belt is roughly here. Then let's go about this far. And then this goes like that. That. And line this up with the drawing. Will be roughly here. This is objectively smaller, so it's more like this. This. Well, actually, this kind of comes from here, so like it just comes down. How does that come down? Anyway, let's continue. Arm goes up, up. This, this. About here, actually. But it's smaller, more like this. Oh wait, this is the wrong side. That's why. Hold up. So this is the shoulder. And this is his bicep. So this is his end of shoulder. Need to like make it that shape, but let's just make it blocky. Up, up, up. Pretty straight up until this rib here and this part here. It's all the way to the belt. Then it gets thinner. Or should meet about this part here. This should be the hand. That. Then it just goes straight or distant. Right. And then bicep. Then here we just go right, right, out a little bit this way, right. So it's just like up and up. Not that thin. Like this. Oh wait, but that one is actually lower. Okay, so his butt's here. This is his, I guess what his underwear is. This is like little toga thing. Hard and smooth, the belt, fine like that. And then his strap here is around that way. That. And I guess the rest of his clothes, cloth thingy. Back. This looks so scuffed, but it's kind of hard to avoid actually. but it's definitely better if I do this. And the hand should be lower. I think I made them two angles, so it should be not quite this, like this, more like this. This hand should be pretty straight down. I guess makes it look pretty thin, but and there's a stick, like a spear. Was that photoshopped in? No, he's holding it. It's just that it's kind of blurry and weird. And so the spear is basically, I'm gonna make it as a separate layer just so I don't fuck with it. Actually, I'm gonna make it from here to. It's pretty much just a straight stick, right? So that should be about correct. Shape it a bit more. Make another one just to give it a bit extra thick. And then from there, it's just kind of like pointy stick. I'm gonna keep the spear to very simple. I can make it a bit better after, but that's actually a bit more like this. Good enough. A little scuff, but that's okay. Just do it like this. So. That'll do. Right, straight. Not the best. That's okay. Not fuck it. Just leave it like this one. Said I was gonna do a lot of effort into it, and I spent like fucking 5 seconds doing it. So finger here. Here. Up. Finger is about here. This one is just kind of. It looks like it's just hovering over it. I mean, they're all just kind of hovering over, but you can see another bit of a finger here. Um, there you go. All right, so that's like the blocking out of it. Now it's time to make it make sense. Let's see how long did this take me? 15 minutes. Something. Um, so make another layer. Then I'll try drawing. Um, Um, like here, like this, but uh, so it actually kind of throws me off. Um, I need to make it a bit more. Uh, this would be. I think I should be. Have maybe done this as well, but that's okay. Um, hard to see from this size, but that's okay. Face, line from his neck, shoulder. Maybe we should have blocked up where the elbow is. That's okay. More muscular. Mm, it has like really strong back muscles. Um, that's here. That should be just more. Not there. The legs are a bit too far apart. That's okay. Uh, big stick can get removed. It's a bit better to look at. Hmm. Wait a second. That goes there. Then this goes that, and then there's like this sort of lip here that goes into the boots, or the sandals, I guess. I'm getting legs properly. Can see being a bit of a challenge here. So maybe down, and then a bit bulky. Ooh, that's not a good calf. Okay, it's fine. My blocking is not super helpful here. Take the brush. Eraser. Let's look at this here. There's a strap here, right here. This is where it starts getting thinner. And this is sort of the bit bulkier part. And if I do that and then I do this, there you go. We did it. Ha! Um, the hole in his like tunic. And you can kind of see the definition of his thighs. Be weird to look at without like having the full both lines. Maybe with a bit of his ankle, so it should be round, right? Really like did not. Oh, that's why. Like using white paint for no reason. Um, I pressed X instead. So X is the thing that changes to a different palette, like this. And C is the one that changes from regular to transparent, which works sort of like a soft eraser. Too pronounced here. Excuse me. Just leave it like this for now. This isn't quite right either because it should be less blocky. That, this, and then we have the other side of the angle. Mirror this, actually this here, yeah, or do it like that. His actual foot is like right here. I mean, not quite like that, but his actual foot, because he's wearing like a sandal, right? But I'll worry about that later. One thing at a time. Right. This is too fat. So that's that bump. Be about halfway through here, which is correct. And then I just kind of very gently not quite right, but it's better. It will also get a bit thinner because there's a ladder strap that goes right through here. It like tightens against this foot a bit. This foot is actually slightly off an angle because let's create a new layer for this. First foot's here, second foot's like be starting about where his heel is, so like around here. So this leg's too short. Um, push this down a bit and start this here. More or less where it starts there. And then turn in. This is part of his foot is roughly here. And his sandal goes under. This thing goes in. And part of his thingamabob. It's like the cloth of his leggings. And his heel is his heel is right here, and it should be about here. Definitely not that big, so it should be that. And this is just his sandal. And a bit too big, actually, but that's okay. This. And just minimize something because it's distracting me. That. Um, let's go that, and then so like unfold here. More like this though. Jumps out not quite that much, but that's okay. Oh, um, adjust this a bit because it's not quite super clean or clear, but his actual foot is like really basically this section here. The rest here is just leather. Putting a part that juts out a bit, like this. So now I can hide the foot though. Here, this goes this, and oh, that layer deeper in. It meets this one. A bit thinner than that. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. This isn't quite right, but that's okay. This square from this thing. It starts here, goes, it goes roughly at the middle of this calves. Like here, and then it goes down. Right. That much overlay. Up. Then it went into this. So this here is a leather belt. Or not a leather belt, but a leather strap actually for the boots. This is also a leather strap. is the other side of the leather strap. This Just gonna delete here. There's a few. This leg has a lot. I mean, both of them have a lot of like leather straps, but kind of hard to like make it properly. Let's work on finishing the arm here because like that's still a little lacking. I literally haven't done it at all. So mhm. Some serious day 1. It's okay. This is the thumb. Actually, you can barely see the thumb, so actually this is pretty accurate. This is a much smaller than I made here. Not like this. And it's a pretty small. Like here, there's this interesting thing where the line of his muscle with his pinky, like from his hand, right? So it's like this, which looks really weird when you look at it, but it makes sense. Sort of like this. Just like this tiny little gap. It's a little odd, but it's okay. Like, a bit better. I need to delete this, but it's maybe am I in the right? All right, that's why I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I? What? Which layer did I put this? It's not Futa. Is it stick? No, it's not stick. Oh, it is stick. Shit. Oops. Like, why can't I remove that? Actually, burn. Why am I drawing in block? It's like, why is the detail so weak? I'm not drawing the right layer. The stick, actually, well, the stick is actually in front of them. So what I need to delete is um, the block. This. This. And not really quite this. The big stick should actually be over this, but under that. That's fine. The deets layer, we wait, as well. This looks so weird. A bit better, but still odd. Because this is not as angled as I made it. Mm. A lot less angled, but that's okay. Let's just do this like that. There you go. That's a bit better. Just, there we go. It's not too bad. So now details. This toga thingy is this way, and then it's actually pretty sharp here. Looks like it's part of his like waistcloth thing. Um, I have to push his ear forward a bit, but I need to draw the ear though. Actually stick to like a minimal ear for now. It's a bit too angled. It's a bit too oval for the angle. There. It's there. This. It's short hair, so it's a little easier to draw too. I mean, for now anyway. And then this is like part of this thing. And then here it's like a. It's out a bit actually, because hair comes in a bit. Uh, uh, Adjacent to his ear, more or less, but it's gonna be hard to like detail that without getting really close. Let's just leave it like this for now. This is his hairline. This is his ear. His face has his eyes here, and then you just see like a tiny little bit of his nose right here, and you can't really see his mouth because it's actually behind this. But it doesn't actually go down like this. It actually remains pretty straight. A bit of a. Actually, I can't really tell if he has a square face or not. Not from this picture, anyway. I mean, it is from behind, so. Just move this. This line goes like this way, and then there's another one that like goes like this. That's just pretty much shading from his muscles. Like he has some stuff here. I don't want to add too many details because otherwise it gets to the sort of like a overly saturated point. Pretty easy to sort of overdo it, and then it certainly just looks weird and liney. At the block now. That's pretty decent. All right, cool. This belt is a little scuffed. I made it a bit too. Um, Where do you hide? Like that. And this jets out a bit. It goes in. This line is a bit like it ends there, but it also sort of starts to sort of make that shape from like left, from like right to left. So hard. Well, like this, but it's a bit more angled. I could just delete. Sun is actually over the spear, so I need to be like this, that, that, and that's pretty much just the shape of the hand here. Yo, what's up, Jim? 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 Alright. Yeah, looking okay. It's a little scuffed, but it's not the worst. Oh, I just noticed there's another hole in his like little toga thing, which is right like under the part about right here. And you can see like his underwear, I guess. Not a very big hole, but not just do it like this. That's this way, that this way. And this. We're practicing drawing today. I'm just choosing like random poses. So this one was just whatever I found from this website that I'm using. Just trying to get better at like drawing things without taking 3 hours, and like perspectives and sort of bodies and proportions and stuff like that. And I have a reference on my other monitor, but I'm trying to avoid tracing and also trying like simple concepts like uh, just like blocking it and kind of getting good at being able to like eyeball blocking a bit better because it's quite difficult for me. Oops, that's the wrong one. Like, yeah, being able to sort of do this and then make a more detailed version over the top. Um, like being able to sort of like figure out then the proportions and like what is not good and what is bad, and sort of, yeah, I guess just overall improve. I'm not a very I'm a very technical terms kind of person, so I might be a little ineloquent, but hopefully you understood what I meant. Um, more, a little less up here and a bit more down this way. Go with the flow kind of guy, yeah. I'm very much just like, I'm not gonna say self-taught because I've watched like some videos and stuff, but I definitely don't have any education on it outside of just looking at some videos and being like, hmm. And drawing has always been something that has like fascinated me. Trying to get sort of to a point where I can comfortably get okay at it, you know? Do you draw as well? Mm. I'm making him look a little less muscular than he is in real life. You have doodle a couple times? And honestly, yeah, that's just how I kind of started as well. Just like, I remember I had this buddy in like primary school or something, and this guy could draw like photographic horses. And this was in like grade 3, right? And this kid was just like insanely good at drawing. It was like, I just remember like he would just like fucking in 10 minutes just whip out this amazing looking horse, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I've always been very envious of people that can draw. But you know, it's some people have talent, but everyone needs to practice. So you got to start somewhere, I suppose. Uh, and I feel like digitally, I was talking about this earlier as well because this is my second time streaming today, but digitally it's so much easier to learn because there's so much more room for a mistake. Like on paper, dude, you make one mistake and you're like so fucked. It's like good luck fixing that. Or I'll leave it with people who can. Yeah, exactly. But then when you do this stuff yourself, it's kind of like um, one of my hobbies is parkour, and I remember back when I started, I was like, bro, how do people do this shit? I was like, so there's no way I'm ever gonna be able to like run up a wall. And then after a few months of trying and or practicing, doing classes and stuff, I could run up walls, and I was like, yo, and like you don't think about, man, I've improved, but then you sort of look back and like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I could probably the same thing here. I could probably look back at an older drawing. And I don't even draw very often. Like I think last time from today that I drew was probably like maybe a few months ago, maybe. Um, yeah, parkour is a very fun hobby. This shoulder looks a little too bulky. He definitely has strong shoulders, but let's not go crazy here. I think it's also because the angle is a little too steep. Like this is a bit better. A bit smaller as well. It's a bit better. But this part is now a little weird. It's down like this. Yeah, there you go. The musculature has a little bit here. Yeah, sort of like when you talk to people that draw a lot and just their eyeball understanding of like where things are in anatomy and like in the body and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this is here because of your cheekbones, because it does this. And you're just like, what? And of course, not everyone is like that, but a lot of the artists that I've sort of met and talked to, they just have this sort of inbuilt, and I mean, obviously it's inbuilt because they practice a lot. And it's just really interesting to be like, holy shit, man. Like, this person can just be like, oh yeah, the cheekbone is right here. So then you just do this, and then suddenly your drawing looks 30 times better. And you're like, oh, hard. Um, okay. It's just fine for the most part. It's just that muscle. Oh, yeah. Angular. Let's just put it like that. Yeah. He's a tattoo. I don't really care about his tattoo, so I'm not gonna draw it. I've developed the flow process. Yeah, exactly. Like even this part, right? Like even this process is just like something that um like is not inherent, right? Like it's something that you have to be like, okay, let me simplify the shape of this thing and then go from there. And then you have to kind of like do that and then sort of, because if you just go straight to this, like some people can just skip this step entirely. Right? They can just look at a drawing and they're like, yeah, there you go, it's just here, right? Um, whereas I feel like not everyone can do that, at least not immediately. I'm sure everyone can sort of practice to get close to that spot, but it's certainly not you just know where it is, whatever. Probably after you've done it a million times, you're just like, oh yeah, of course. You just bang it out. Just draw the rest of the fucking owl, Draw two circles. Uh, it's interesting that you mentioned flow because flow is actually it's a term used in parkour for a lot of for like the ability to combine movements together in a way that you don't have to sort of stop in between, right? A lot about parkour is like, I mean, of course, you sort of see the montage of people jumping crazy shit and doing stuff like that, but a lot of it is also just like, okay, how do I link these two movements without taking a bunch of awkward steps in between them. And then you kind of get good at like you start memorizing how to sort of like count your steps and sort of or maybe not necessarily manually counting them, but you kind of like figure out how many steps you need to take between this and with what foot you need to land when you land from this jump so that you can tie in another one. And it's this whole thing. I guess it's very similar to drawing, as you said. Doing things on a continuous basis helps you kind of like skip some in between steps. There, leather strap. Like this way though. It's more. It's going in, right? So it should be like this. Right here, there's another one. Left over. Parkour makes it take dynamic movements. It's a continuous. Exactly, yeah. Like you kind of link a bunch of stuff together so that it looks so that when you look at parkour, I've had so many people. Like I've had enough people that just kind of like look at parkour and they're like, yeah, I can probably do that, and then they try and they're like, holy shit, this like because it's like it's like watching anyone that's good at something and they make it look super easy and it's like, yeah, whatever, I can do that too. And then you try and you're like, I mean, obviously to a limit, right? Like the easier stuff, the hard stuff you look at and like you're immediately impressed and you're like, there's no way I can fucking do that. But if you look at someone just doing some quote unquote easy stuff, right? Like the not super sketchy, insane jumps. You look at it and you think, yeah, I could probably do that. And then you try. And you're like, nope, never mind. This is a lot harder than it looks. And that's the whole idea of flow, is making things look very smooth and easy. And that's there. There's the fancier stuff in parkour as well, which I'm a little bit less about. Like I'm not much of a flips kind of person. I've always been a bit more of a tying cool movements together. Like traversal parkour for me is more interesting than sort of the cool flips and this and that. But, to each their own, of course. I have a few friends that are more trickers and sort of stuff like that. Although I haven't practiced in like a few months because of. Actually, now it's been over a year. Actually, I've been doing more climbing lately because it started with the pandemic, and then I just kind of. I live right next to a climbing gym, so for me, it's like really easy to just go there instead and do that. But oh wait, hold up. There's something right here. All right, so I need to actually block. Unblock, but delete this. If this is thigh. That needs to be. That doesn't look right. There's like a bit of underwear, like right here. Of underwear. Do that, and that's a bit better. This part does not look quite right, because it has to come up a bit. That's gonna look kind of scuffed too, actually. Yeah, it does. Gives me more of an adrenaline rush. Parkour climbing, definitely parkour. Climbing is a lot of a steadier sort of challenge. Of course, depends on what you're doing, but at least for like the lower level stuff, when you start, it's a lot more about just kind of like figuring out your grips and sort of techniques. I mean, parkour has a lot of shit ton of technique too, but parkour is so mental because of the added speed. With climbing, you can kind of take your time with the route. Like the only thing that really limits your time, your ability to take time to do things, is your stamina, right? Whereas in parkour, you have you very much are. Ooh, hold up. Oh shit. Let me do it like this. Touch this out here. Yeah, like in parkour, you have a lot more of like a, you're running at it, right? So you have to just kind of like, it's like, it's do I commit? Do I not commit? Oh my god, right? So you have a lot less time to make a decision, and that kind of like adds a lot to the mental part of it, where like you have the strength to like clear a certain gap, but when you're there, when you're like running at it and you look at the gap and you're like, if I miss this step, I'm gonna fucking eat it, and like I'm probably gonna be okay, but I don't want to eat it. So um, you sort of you have to like constantly fight with your brain and be like, no, it's okay. I know I can do this. And then like there's all these sort of like little things that you can do to um, to kind of like help you get to the point where you can just like feel confident about it, right? So if you're jumping over like a long, like not even a long gap, but let's say like something close-ish to your max distance, right? So like let's say you're here, or let's say there's a block here and there's a space here and there's another block here. Oh god, you can draw. I don't know if I can draw, but so let's say you are here, right? Um, this is you. Uh, and this is like, let's say your max, like if you're jumping your max, you can get from here to here, right? But your goal is just to get here, which is a lot less than your max. But your eyes are looking at this. Your eyes are looking at this floor, and you're just like, I'm going to be here, right? If I miss, it's going to be me. Sorry, I gave you a big dick. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but you know, this is what you're thinking, right? Like this is right. It's not even a big height, but this is immediately what your brain does. This is like 60% of your power, right? This is 100%. And like, but you're looking at this gap and you're just like, what if I just for some reason forget how to use my legs and I just fall and eat it, right? Like, and this is like, I don't know, like 1.5 meters high. So it's like juggling instead of looking at the ball, you have to look at the middle. Yeah, kind of. It kind of is like that. Uh, you have to just kind of like look here, right? Like your eyes have to go here, right? And and it's okay to keep this in mind. But what you want to remember is that this is your 100%. So you can way clear this. So what you do generally, um, so what you generally do here is you um, what it was. Um, is that you sort of do this jump, right? So in the background, well, how do I do this? So let's say you're here, um, and then you're just doing this jump, literally the same jump, and on the background you have one block here and one block here, and then you do this jump enough times that you're very comfortable with the fact that you can make this jump on the floor without even worrying about it, that like you're sort of eyeballing, you have a little bit of tape here and a little bit of tape here, and every time you're clearing this jump. And so you're like, okay, this is definitely within my range. And then, you can sort of do the jump after, or you can sort of like start, if you can move this block, then you can push it a bit closer first. And then you like way overshoot it. Or you put another block behind it to sort of like make sure that you have some extra room, and then you like slowly push it away to kind of just trick your brain into being like, or into doing what you can do. Whereas with climbing, that's what the level of drawing that I'm at. Whereas with climbing, it's a lot more like, unless you're doing really high stuff, which I normally do bouldering, so you don't do a lot of like heights. With bouldering, it's a lot more just kind of like, well, I see the problem. There's like these 4 grips. I start here. and I have to get here. And then it's like figuring out like, okay, where does my foot go? Do I need to like, sort of, do I need to uh, switch my balance point with my hips or with my leg or with my foot? Um, so climbing feels a lot more like problem solving, whereas parkour feels a lot more like fighting your brain. Which and both are interesting because they're both a great workout, but they're both very challenging in different ways, despite using similar muscle groups. Also because parkour, the movement in parkour is a lot more about explosive power, and then because it's all about like bursts of strength, right? Like between movements, you're sort of like bursting from one sort of like jump to another, and it's just kind of like being able to use your body explosively like that. And in climbing, it's a lot more steady, I guess. Anyway, let's continue with the drawing here. Here, and then there's line goes over. Even though it looks a little weird like that, but it's actually because these are two separate pieces of leather. Mm, legs. Um, Honestly, this is pretty okay. I'm pretty happy with this. The fact I was able to do this in how long? Thank you for the chat. If you have any time, yeah, take care, man. Thanks for popping by. 1 hour and 15 minutes versus the previous 3 hour one. But the other one was a lot harder, let's be honest. The other one I had a lot of like cloth to figure out. It was very, very complicated. Let me just get some water and be right back. Or actually, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I have water. Oh, let's see here. I thought for quite a while it was a trick of the light, but now your camera's a bit closer and bigger. Do you have a mark on your head? This is a birthmark. I had it since I was a baby. Uh, Too bad. Don't worry about it. I mean, my camera's not very big anyways, so I wouldn't expect anyone to notice it. And I'm not sensitive about it either. It's just something I got. no need to worry. A lot of people ask me if I got into a fight. I actually had a manager who got really mad at me, and she was like, I got to work, and I was just like, this is back when I was a waiter in New Zealand, and she just pulls me aside, and she's like, if you continue this, I'm gonna have to fire you. And I was like, what? It's like, what? Hello, what? And she's like, yeah, like, I can't have my staff getting into, uh, can't get my staff getting into fights. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? What fights? Like, don't play stupid. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, your head. You got punched. You have a black eye. And I do? And like, she's like, yeah, like, what do you mean? It's like right here. And I was like, you mean my birthmark? She's like, that's not a birthmark. And I was like, yeah, it's a birthmark. I've had it since I was born. I've had this in my face literally since I was born. And yeah, no, I don't mind at all. It's fine. Um, she's like, do you promise? And I was like, yes. It's like I have it in my. You can see it in my ID. I can show it to you. And she's like, all right, I'll believe you, but behave yourself. And I was like, okay. It's like, you're crazy, lady, but all right, sure. That's an awkward conversation, dude. It was so funny. But I have a lot of people that have known me in person for a very long time and have never noticed that I have it. It's also because sometimes it doesn't show a lot because they're like little blood vessels, right? They're like little blood vessels close to my forehead, sort of, so to speak. Um, so oh, that's not correct. Um, so some things it could be like temperature or whatever. It can make the blood vessels appear a bit more or pop a bit more. So um, that's usually and like sometimes like my hair is in front of it. Like it could be literally a million things. I don't mind the question at all because I know that it's not super noticeable. Um, Sorry, that manager was something else. She was a very, very strange person. I don't think she should have been managing people, but very like temperamental for a manager. Not usually a quality you want in leadership. That does make me feel a bit better. Yeah, I'm glad. Let's do it like this. Actually, no, it is actually kind of separate. Not this much, it's a bit less than that. That. And this is sort of heals. It seems how she immediately thought you had to fight. Yeah, I know, right? Like it could have been a million things, but honestly, she didn't like me, right? And I figured this out much later, but she just didn't like me. So I knew she was probably looking for excuses to fire me. So um, that was just how she was. Uh, this because his foot is right here. But that was back when I was working in hospitality, and hospitality isn't exactly the best industry. This is not looking too good. I'm not gonna lie. I want to like really clear out this space here. Let me do this. Whoa, not all of this. Tiny bit. My thought was, is you injured? I hope he's okay. Jeez, it's been a fight. I'm such yeah. I think that's because I think in person, especially when I was working in hospitality, and I fucking hated it. I just naturally I can have sort of a resting bitch face, you know. So I think she looked at my face and looked at I because I've had a few people that tell me like, "Oh, you look mad. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I just, it's just how I look." Um, and they think I'm mad about something. So it's not like, suppose it could be an ex murder relash. Yeah, exactly. You never know, right? It's be hard to like do this correctly, but maybe that's good enough. Does that look so weird? Why? Because this handles look really off. Now it got worse. Mm. Uh, this is actually part of this. Oh, that's not the right brush. That and then there's that. What are you drawing? I can see a guy, but like, what is the theme? Oh, I'm looking at a reference. I just looked up a random picture reference, and I tried finding something that because I've drawn I drew a girl earlier today. I wanted to draw a guy for once. Um, so it's just like it's just a guy holding a spear, I guess. And so I'm trying to get that, but the foot is struggling here. This foot is hideous. Let's just do this. Let's just redo this part because this is kind of fucked. Um, that I think is not that steep. That's kind of the problem. So it's like more like this, and this does not go that high. It's more like that and this sort of. Yeah, that doesn't look right. It's kind of it. That's more like. Oh, I see. So there's actually this is part of the issue here. Yeah, like too much, too much, too much. Hold up. Uh, just for like a warm. There you go. Now there's a bit of curve here. It's kind of what I was trying to do. Uh, I mean, it's a bit of easy. You should keep that title guy at least here. I mean, that's literally what the reference picture is. So, it's like that artist that has like this really epic looking picture of this sort of like big beast sort of looking over the woods. And there's like this guy in the background. That's like this beast is like ginormous, right? And the title is something really silly, like I think it's just like and the wizard's point of view is sort of like, hey bro, are the woods safe? And the giant responding, yeah man, it's safe. So, sometimes you just need a silly title, tie it all together. Make better be better to make Clickbait, this guy found a new way to hold a spear to kill everything. Bro. Epic streamer loot. You won't believe what this guy did with the spear. Click here to find out more. Change the stream title. I want to keep it like this, just so that people know what they're getting into. They know whatever they're watching, it ain't experienced. Reason to draw. This is Clip Studio Paint. My names are up here. And oh, you mean the actual tablet? It's like a Wacom tablet that a friend gave me. This guy. Friend was getting a new one, and it took me a while to get used to drawing without like, because like you're used to drawing like this. So when drawing without looking at your surface, it was a learning curve, but it's you get pretty used to it after a while. It's just kind of like learning how to map your brain. The pain. Yeah. So this guy, which just comes with the tablet. Sorry, I don't know how much you can see in the stream because I'm looking at the reference picture. I'm not looking at my preview. That goes here, and this is more like a straight down. There's like shading here, but I'll do the shading. This do some. It's a bit more detail than that, but that's okay. All right, so do this. Yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, let me make sure I can bring. I don't know how much I can. I thought maybe I didn't do it, but this guy. This is the tablet. It's called Wacom. Wacom. I don't know. It's a very good song. Oops. I was like, why? I was like looking at my reference and I was like, why is it so small and why does it look drawn? Because that's my own drawing. Oh. Oh, color stretch is a thing I was thinking about the other day. Okay, so honestly, this is pretty okay. The ears are not quite right. They're a bit too. Can you show the reference? This guy. Oh. I had to double check for a second because like shit is because there's a lot of in this. I can't scroll through this because there's like naked people in this, like fully naked, right? So yeah, this is the guy. The dude himself. No, it's not amazing, but It's a whole different meaning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Some pictures was just like straight up like flabby dick, and I was like, all right, well, cool. Thanks. Thanks for that one. Then again, there's also naked women, so it's not like there's only naked dudes. So everyone can be naked. This leg looks kind of scuffed, like too thick, too damn thick. Here's a bit too thick still as well. Fine because of the volume, but I think this leg needs to be a bit better. That's a bit better. The problem here is that this part is jutting out a bit more. Like so. No, not this much though. Hard to like figure out what to change to make it give the effect that you want. Because the thing is, this leather is going. Oh, I made the leather way too thin. It is going on top, and that is creating sort of like this little whoop of like kind of like this, right? Like this little blip of like fatty tissue or skin that sort of pops out when you have a tight strap. Remember my cousin got married, they did a bachelor party where they all drew a naked guy. My aunt has never been so red in their face. Come on, auntie. It's just some dicks. It's okay. Just some dick. We've all seen it. This is this. Yeah, I can understand why people like. In some ways, I can really understand why there's a lot more reference pictures of women, and it's not because drawing men is not interesting, but like finding good poses as well. Like I feel like it's a lot easier to find pictures of women with interesting poses. At least in my very brief searching, you know what I mean? Like I'm no expert here, but in my very brief experience, it was a lot easier to find women in interesting poses. And I would just kind of find like a lot of naked dudes, but they were not in interesting poses, right? This guy is good because I actually like draw. Like, I'm actually quite enjoying learning how to draw backs. Um, and so it's like it's cool to learn how to draw both bodies, but it's also completely understandable why a lot of people draw women more, both because like I guess being attracted to women also helps. I like guys in romantic interest, but purely looking at drawing something, I think a woman's body almost always wins. Yeah, like I feel like there's more interesting curves. Like a muscular body like this guy isn't super ripped, but he's really strong. He has like a really strong back. He has very defined thighs, and I mean his calves are kind of covered, but they're pretty thick. They're definitely no chicken legs. But I think just in terms of finding a good pose can be really difficult for men. And just like because also it's the same thing with clothing, right? Like you look at clothing for men, you think about like style choices for men. You have social, um, which is like a dress shirt and buttons, and then you have like a little bit more, or like not social, but like semi-formal, which is just like a shirt and maybe a tie, some pants, and then you have like casual, which is just like anything from like jeans and a t-shirt, maybe jeans and a shirt, uh, and then shoes are all just the same thing, right? Like you have like walk shoes and boots, and you have sandals, like you know, and then you look and like for women, you have like so many fashion choices, and I understand that that's not necessarily a good thing because it creates a lot of pressure for women to dress, in whatever different ways, right? I don't think this is necessarily a good thing, but it does create this thing where women have like such an extra freedom of expression when it comes to like the way you dress, whereas for men it's like you wear a funny shirt, you wear funny socks, or you wear funny pants, like in a bright color, ooh, or you wear a kilt if you're Scottish, or if you just want to wear a kilt, I guess. Whereas I feel like women's have like there's women have all these kinds of like dresses and like socks and like knee highs and thigh highs and short socks, no socks, the Reeboks with the fur, and just like all kinds of shit. Where, um, yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like there's so many more options that makes it more interesting to sort of like gives you more options to like how to dress as well, which I think is cool. Whereas men, yeah, you know, and yeah, I agree. The penis is not the most aesthetically pleasing organ. I do like that in this time it got a bit more diverse as guys. You guys get to yeah, no, exactly. I definitely appreciate that it's gotten a lot more sort of um like diverse as you called it. I'm not. I don't have a very like. I'm not a very colorful person when it comes to my wardrobe. I like black. You know. I don't dislike wearing crazy socks or whatever, but I do generally tend to stick to um, black and you know sort of. I like blue. I'm not a very like bright colors person. I don't like the suspenders. I was never big into the suspender fashion. Dress shirts, they just make me sweaty. I like flannel shirts. Those I actually quite like. I think hairstyles are. I mean, I've had this for more or less forever. Um, yeah, exactly. The socks are always cool. Like I just I don't know. I just it's such a minor thing, right? Because then you have to have something you can actually people can actually see your socks. Um, and yeah, I don't know, but at least it's moving in some direction, which we can complain about. Uh, of autism, I noticed it too. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, you know, even I've learned to notice as well, like people with cool clothes and stuff, you know, regardless of autism or not. I just think it's really cool that they are more of a thing nowadays. Um, I needed to be a bit more like this. Almost got new glasses for an entire afternoon, being distracted every time I looked that way. Yeah, because you mentioned that that's both a good and a bad thing, right? Like because you don't deal with change too well, so it can really throw you off. Because I know a lot of people are also like super sensitive in like how they recognize faces. So I don't remember with who I was talking to about this, but they were basically saying like if someone changes their glasses, I like there's a good chance they're gonna walk right by me and I'm not gonna know who they are. Um, so I get that, you know. I don't have that problem, thankfully, but I understand. Um, I understand. Not that drove me crazy. This new glasses had like an extra wire bridge between the glasses over the nose. uh, it's funny because I know enough people that have like autism or are on the spectrum, and so I can like I feel like maybe if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to relate so much or like understand. But I totally get it because I have so many friends that are just like they have just have that thing, you know, and you're just like I can't deal with this. This is unbearable. This is torture for me. So sometimes I send pictures to Leth just because I know that he likes to annoy his friends who are also on the spectrum, and and he's also on the spectrum to be fair. So he's not doing it just to be cruel. Um, but he we like I sent him a picture of because I had these like iron pills right because I donated blood. So let me see if I can find them. I actually do need to find them because I need to take them. Uh, Here. So these guys. Um, I had this is my second package because I finished my other one. But basically, I was doing so that I was sort of like removing them completely out of order, like intentionally doing that just to annoy his friends. And I sent him a picture when he was like in progress. It was like all scuffed and all over the place. And he was like, "Why would you do this to me?" Because like for me, symmetry is just like it's nice to have, but it doesn't make or break something for me. Whereas I know that it will really bother some people, and I both sympathize. But since he was the one being like, "I want to annoy them," I'm like, "Look, I'm just providing," and he's like, "Fair enough." A little hard to sort of do. This thing with the color yellow for some reason, I just hate it. Again, not on the spectrum that I know of, but I was never a big fan of yellow. Again, but it's just like it doesn't drive me insane. I just don't like it. Just think it's not a very pretty color. But yeah, some people are like maybe like you, like just like can't do it. It's temperature. Um, look at the best, you know. So get coaches from the government to help me stay left because of the autism, and she loves the color, but always keeps in mind to not wear yellow. Because if she does, I just keep looking at it and repeating that it's wearing yellow. Oh no, I feel bad for the both of you. But I guess she did. She took the position. I guess she knew what she was in for. I guess it affects everyone differently, right? Because like everyone has their kind of quirks, and maybe there's like some that are more common than others. But I guess it's part of the condition. She's been your coach for 13 years. Oh yeah, okay, that's pretty good then. I'm sure she is happy doing what she's doing. Otherwise, she wouldn't be there. She wouldn't have stuck around, I guess. Um, okay. This egghead over here is kind of like it's it's not very bumpy up here, but there's a few things that are a little. Um, this is the stankiest. Oh, it's such a stanky base. I love it. Not quite that much. Not much. pretty good. Could definitely improve a few things. Um, yeah, otherwise pretty clean. I get definitely very happy with it. Mm. It is dark. Just a bit of a line. The definition of his muscle shows a bit here. Same with see some veins here, but I'm not going to bother drawing the veins. It's out too much. Okay. There we go. Do you want to just call it here? Probably, right? Like this is pretty good if I don't go for like colors. I could maybe make it a mission to make this a coloring thing as well. And the coloring would probably I would probably stick to like very, very simple colors. Um, I think I will keep this sort of line art. I don't think I want to do like a pen line art like this. Like I don't think I want to use this sort of like color over it. You know, I feel like it would be. I guess it could be okay too. I wonder if coloring would take away the simplicity. Coloring does complicate things a lot, a lot. Um, so I'm not experienced enough to be doing coloring comfortably because it does, like you said, there's something very simple and nice um, about sketches. Because the moment you start adding colors, then you have to add shading, and then you have to add blending of colors and the lighting and how the reflections look, and sort of there's like a million things that you need to do. Um, that just make everything harder. So it's like, not that I mean it's a simple drawing. No, no, it's okay. I got what you meant. Um, yeah, in general, I find that lighting, despite being very nice, is very, very complicates things a lot. Or not lighting, sorry, coloring. Um, but it is something I want to learn. So it's just like I'm just gonna have to suck up. You know, it's kind of like, well, I know it's difficult, but you know we want to get good, so pay the price, I guess. Um, there's only one way to learn, which is to suck at it first. Um, gotta go though. The bad phase got better. All right, take care, Josie. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, sorry, I misread that entirely. Sorry. Gotta go through the bad phase to get better. um, my bad. But yes, exactly. You do. It's kind of a mandatory step. Everyone sucks at things when they start. I thought you said I gotta go now. I gotta go though. And I was like, the bad phase got better. I was like, I didn't know you were in a bad phase. What happened? I guess I shouldn't ask. It hasn't said anything, so relatable. You know, sometimes the bad phase just passes and you gotta go. I'm not gonna argue. Who am I to argue? Um, if I were to color, um, I'd probably like stick to very sort of I'm in a really bad phase. It's really hard, but I gotta go. Bye. Kidding. Um, like the easiest thing to do would probably be, other than the fact that the reflections and the shading, would be this, like sort of like these two things, and leaving the guy, because like I'm terrible with skin color, and like dude, the way that skin transfer colors and the shading and just like and the hair, I'm just like, oh. But it's also because like hair itself is also really complicated for me because I don't know when to stop drawing strands. Because you're like, oh, but I'm seeing a million strands here, so I should draw them. And sort of like, so you have to kind of find out which of these strands are the defining parts of this hair that make it look the way that it is, or like it could be the lighting in it or whatever, right? And then just kind of like stopping at that instead of just like, you know, putting every line and sort of taking forever. Um, and so, yeah, so mark this out. Okay. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this for now. And I've already drawn for like 3 hours today. So maybe just calling it here for now is good enough, you know. So I think I'll do that. I love hair, the flowiness. The flowiness is so comforting for me for some reason. Yeah. I really like hair. I have a really hard time drawing hair because of that reason. Right? Like finding the general shape and then sticking to that is very difficult to me. But that's also because, but I feel like when you're sort of working with colors, it's a bit less annoying. But anyways, guys, I'll be going for now. I'll come back next stream, whenever that is. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Thanks for hanging out. For